What's up, YouTube? Night's Edge here. Got another little overview of the Cold Steel AD-15. I actually said at that time without saying Demco knives. So this is an review of the AD-15 Cold Steel knife. Kind of like a brother knife, I guess you could say, to the AD-10 that I just reviewed, but it's got a lot of differences too, which one of them's probably sticking out right now to you is obvious, is the scorpion lock on this thing. So we'll go ahead and open it up. So looking at it, this is probably like the most unique thing about the knife. This is what sells the knife to a lot of people, is the scorpion lock. It's a totally unique locking mechanism, extremely strong, but whenever you activate the knife, whenever you fold it out, this little groove that's in the handle right here, that's sitting on a pivot, you lift it up and that slides into that notch on the blade. So that is locked fully, securely, and it's got that also. It's like a little backup, another notch inside the lock right there, for extra protection. And also on top of that, as you squeeze this thing, the lock's only getting stronger. So whenever you use it, whenever you push down, or even if you're pulling or whatever you're doing, you're pressing that lock farther into the tang of the blade itself and making the lock more secure. Super reliable, secure lock. Downsides of the lock itself, I would say, is it's essentially two-handed. Now you can activate it with one hand, and if you put your fingers on the side on the scale right there, whenever you're closing it, lift up with your index finger, and you can actually close it with one hand. Not convenient at all, but it is possible to do one-handed open and closing for this knife. So anyway, I wanted to go ahead and get that out of the way. That's kind of like the big selling point, the big feature of this knife, and one of the reasons it's different from its brother. So we'll go ahead and do some size comparisons. This is the Spyderco Paramilitary 2. It's larger, heavier than that. This is a Spyderco Para 3, definitely larger and heavier than that. Although if you look at the Paramilitary 2, the cutting edge, the AD-15 has got a little bit on the Paramilitary 2 as far as actual cutting edge, but not that much. Put these up, do another size comparison. That's a Microtech Stitch. Overall, looking at it, same, right at the same length from the tip of the blade to the hilt, the back side of the handle, right at the same length. The AD-15 might have less than the 16th of an inch on the stitch, if that. It looks larger looking at it from on top, the way the camera's positioned. Put this one down, focus. Put this one down here, the stitch looks bigger. So right at the same length of that, but way bulkier and way wider of a handle. Now this is the, I don't know why the camera keeps not wanting to focus on the knife itself. This is, that's the AD-20.5 with the Shark lock. A lot slimmer of a knife. Demco design knife. This one's actually made by Demco Knives. This is Cold Steel, but the AD-20.5 is a lot more of a pocket friendly knife, thinner profile, Much less cutting edge, not like a mini knife or anything like that, but still a lot less cutting edge than the AD-15. And last but not least, this is the cold steel AD-10. So a lot of similarities here. The AD-10 does have a broader of a blade. They got a nice satin finish on there. You can see my fingerprint smudging all over it. But the AD-10 does have a lot broader of a blade than the AD-15, but right at the same cutting edge. Yeah, that's almost identical cutting edge on those two knives. That is also an overbuilt knife. The AD-10, in my opinion, is more overbuilt than this one, and obviously has different locking mechanisms and a lot of other things. But that's the size comparison with the AD-10. I do plan on doing a direct comparison video with the two in the future. So go ahead and go into get the calibers out here. Take a look at the blade stock thickness. Pretty thick. Thinner than 8010, but still pretty thick. 136 thousandths. Compound hollow grind. Bevel on top, flat. Hollows down right there. And get fairly close to the edge. Sitting it right at 21 thousandths. 22. Pretty thin. For such bulky blade stock, it is pretty thin behind the edge, I'd say. Now this thing cuts, it slices great. I've not had a problem with it. Let me get some paper out. Get a piece of paper out. Go ahead and get that over with. Cut slices just as well as the AD-10 does, and in my opinion, just as well as the Spyderco Paramilitary 2. Really, I mean, this is it's no slouch cutting, and it will slice. No issues there. That's actually the factory edge on it too, which is surprising because usually I'll wear out the factory edge first on a knife and put my own edge on it, which is usually around the 17 degree per side bevel, 17 degree per side edge. So I'm not sure what exact angle this is that they sharpen it to, but they do lay it back a lot more than a lot of other factory edges, which is nice. Do the hardware check on it real quick. This is, see, that's a T6. So pocket clip screws are T6. Now this is a reversible pocket clip, unlike the AD-10. It comes with this pocket clip's reversible, so you can take these out with the T6, put them on this side. Just be careful not to strip it out because it is a T6. This is a T10, which I'm almost positive that's what the pivot is. I'll get the camera to focus there. That's a T10. Yep, T10 there. And T10 there. T10, pocket clip screws, T6. Actually pretty minimal hardware for such a large knife. This is that's on a captive pivot right there. So as you're working it, this goes up and down, and this is the actual pivot itself, which is also, this is a captive pivot, which is a good thing if you're taking this thing apart. I've never taken one apart before. I've been kind of curious as to what it looks like apart, but not 100% sure about why I would take it apart. It's pretty easy to clean. It's really easy to get to. That's sitting on phosphor bronze washers. If you look at it, you kind of see them in there. Let me get my flashlight. Yeah. Phosphor bronze washers, which again kind of contributes to the, you don't have little bearings in there rubbing against the sides and everything. So the phosphor bronze washers are kind of a little bit better for hard use, at least in my opinion. The action on it, if I flick it the right way, the action's really good. No issues there. For such a large knife, especially, the action's not bad at all. Now, if you're squeezing this thing like this, pressing this down somehow while you're trying to open it, yeah, it's fighting itself whenever you're trying to open it. So try to avoid that. That directly messes up opening the knife because you're running the action on it. You're causing it to try to lock on itself while you're opening. But once you've got it, and that hasn't been a problem, like naturally for me. I don't know if it has been for anyone else, but naturally open the knife, no problem. It's solid, it's locked in solid. That scorpion lock does its job really well, especially when you're gripping it tight. It's comfortable. It is pretty thick. Go ahead and I forgot to do that. Put the tape measure on it. Thickness of the handle, just over half an inch, probably 0.55, 0.6 of an inch. Pretty thick handle scales, pretty bulky. Get a weight on it real quick. Make sure that's zeroed out. 6.5 ounces, so weighs a little bit less than its brother, the AD-10, but pretty hefty knife, especially for the length of the blade, which I can't remember if I measured or not. I'll go ahead and do it again just to make sure. I know I measured it earlier, but I'm not quite sure if I measured for the video. So all the way to the tip of the blade all the way to the butt of the handle, right at 8.5 inches, and from the tip of the blade to the handle itself, you're looking at 3 and 5/8, a little over 3 5/8. Cutting edge on it sitting right at 3.5, just maybe a hair over 3.5 on the cutting edge. So for that weight, sitting at 3.5 cutting edge, you're definitely well over, almost double, just like the AD-10, the ounce and inch ratio. These are both vastly overbuilt knives. AD-15 a little bit less overbuilt, but still pretty bulky. I mean, this is not a convenient thing to carry if you're doing your, at least for me anyway, doing everyday stuff, you know, even at work. It's pretty hefty, but it is very secure, and it's a very good, bulky, beefy knife that if you want to be out in the woods and know if you don't have a fixed blade on you, or if you want to just carry a folder for a backup or whatever, or if you're just doing yard work, or you know, something, anything really to where you've got a good thick pair of jeans on, it's a good knife to have. The contouring on the G10, it's not rough really. It's rougher than the AD-10, but the AD-10 in my opinion is, that G10 especially is one of my favorite G10 scales I've ever felt. But it's not rough, it's not pointy, like a lot of like the Spyderco FRNs are. The little lock bar here on the Scorpion lock is rounded off, smooth. It's got little milling right there. You can actually see it. I'll get it close to the camera. That milling right there, nice and smooth. Lines to kind of help you with the grip. Little jimping right there. That helps the ball of your palm right there whenever you're doing cuts with it. The jimping up top, large grip, large jimping, just like the AD-10. But it's actually pretty comfortable. It's not sharp on the edges or anything like that. It's pretty well rounded off, and has a forward finger choil right there, which doesn't decrease your cutting edge because it doesn't really go into the blade that much. Choke back, gripping like this, it's comfortable, really nice in the hand. Choked up like this, comfortable as well, just like its older brother. Got to be careful not to slip up right in that area, but if you're gripping it just like this, especially if you're doing regular pull cuts, chops, stuff like that, it's a pretty secure, firm grip. It's not going anywhere really. You can pinch grip it, do some draw cuts. It's kind of butt heavy for that really, but you can do that with it. Pretty much the main thing that attracted me to the AD-15 was a Scorpion lock, which I still haven't seen another lock mechanism like the Scorpion lock. It's a good lock, good solid lock. And I think it's pretty neat the way it works. But that is the Demco, or the Cold Steel AD, which stands for Andrew Demco, the Cold Steel AD-15. Hollow grind S35 VN, just like the AD-10. It's got the S35 VN steel, which is a good steel, good for, not bad for edge retention, not bad for corrosive resistance. Good all around steel, I think, in my opinion. Has been for me anyway. Made in Taiwan, not the United States. Still Taiwan manufacturing. Rivals a lot of United States manufacturing on a lot of levels for a lot of different companies, so that's not really saying anything. All around great knife. If you're looking for something that's quick to open, you're looking for something light, something you can carry into like an office, or something you can kind of carry to church or to a dinner or something like that, this is not the knife for you. But if you're in the woods, if you're in the yard doing yard work, anything, or if you're in like a manufacturing kind of setting, breaking boxes down, something like that, and you're doing anything where you're gonna have like pants with a belt on, jeans, cargo pants, something like that, it's a good knife to have, as long as you're outfitted for the occasion. And that is it. That is the Cold Steel AD-15 pocket knife, and this has been another rambling review by the Knight's Edge. If you liked the video, hit the like button. If you're not already, I'd really appreciate it if you subscribe to the channel. It means a lot. And also subscribe to the channel to have to look at more content, because I'm definitely going to come out with more. And I appreciate you guys. Thank you for watching. Knight's Edge again. Have a good rest of your day.